on the back of your pre-packaged food. When we begin to read these labels, we see toxins, chemicals, additives, and preservatives. Our bodies don't recognize those chemicals. This amazing body only recognizes whole food. Your FDA allows over 8,000 chemicals, toxins, and preservatives in those prepackaged foods. Now, I don't have time to talk about all 8,000 of those chemicals, but I do want you to be aware of the colors in your food. The blues, the greens, the reds, and the yellows. When you see these colors in your food, this is a dye. And this dye is made from coal and petroleum. These are some of the same ingredients that they mix in tar to pave our roads that we drive on every day. Some of the same ingredients in the asphalt that we walk on and ride our bicycles on every day. Does this sound like something you want to be eating, let alone give to your adorable children or those precious grandchildren? I don't think so. So the next time you go buy that prepackaged food and you see those words that you cannot pronounce, you see those words you don't even know what they mean, the rule of thumb, we do not need to eat it, and you don't want to catch the food police in the store giving you a citation and put it into your plate. All right, ladies, now this next thing that we need to take out of our diet, before I tell you, I gotta let you know, the food police cannot sing, but that's okay. Sugar pie, honey bun, ooh, you know that I love you. Can't help myself, ooh, I love you and nobody else. Refined sugar. It is a dangerous poison. It feeds cancer. It causes ADD, ADHD. It suppresses our immune system. It is the number one reason that this country used to be just overweight, but now we are morbidly obese. And I don't have to tell you, every single where we go, we see overweight children and overweight adults. Let me ask you a question. How many of you put a little sugar in your coffee in the morning? Put a little sugar in your tea, your cereal, your oatmeal. There's even people putting sugar in their collard greens and cornbread. Food police totally don't get that one. All of this sugar adds up. The average American consumes 150 pounds of refined sugar. That is a whole person. A whole person. In 1 year, if you lived to be 70 years old, you would have consumed 12,000 pounds. Some elephants weigh 12,000 pounds. That 150 teaspoons of sugar, it equals to 50 teaspoons of sugar per day. And in this mason jar, this is 50 teaspoons of sugar. Now, would any of you sit down and put this in a bowl and eat it at one time? We wouldn't, but through the course of the day, a little bit here, a little bit there, it adds up. Ladies, when this refined sugar suppresses our immune system, it doesn't work the way God intended for it to work. When God created these amazing bodies, He made them to be self-healing. But we're going to have to do our part so they can be self-healing. I want you to think of your immune system like the military. The Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Job Corps. When there's a war going on, what do? They put their best people on their front line and it fights for us. This is what the immune system does for us if we give it proper nutrition. Let me ask you a question. If you have a girlfriend and she's dating this guy, she says, oh, I just love him, but he's abusive, he's stepping out on me, he's beating me up, what are you going to tell her? She needs to get out of this relationship real quick. If you're already saying you're loving sugar and that you have to have it, you're in a toxic relationship, you need to get out ASAP. If not, I'm going to come lock you up. And don't you think about something else. They say, oh, I'm just going to have a little bit every now and then. You've got to have it in moderation. If you know somebody's on drugs, whether it's crack, cocaine, heroin, or meth, Are you going to tell them you can have it in moderation? No, because we know the danger that it puts on this body. Refined sugar is no different. It is a poison. And we need to detox from this poison. Now don't get me wrong, the food police love something sweet. But there's more natural things that we can put into our diet. There's date sugar, there's beet sugar, coconut sugar, there's agave, the honeybees making this amazing honey. So these things we can combat our sweet tooth with. And so I was kind of hesitant to say this last thing, but sometimes, gotta call straight. Dementia, Alzheimer's. We're hearing more and more people having these horrible diseases. White sugar, refined sugar, it is drawing the moisture out of our bodies. Your brain is shrinking every time you're eating a little bit of this sugar. So if your brain is not at the capacity that God intended for it to be, of course you're not going to be able to remember the things that you need to remember. So when these patients go visit these doctors, the first thing they should tell them is get off of refined sugar. But most doctors, they don't even take consideration what we're eating on a daily basis. So all right, ladies, we just move right along. Now this last thing we're going to take out of our diet, I need y'all to stand on back up, because I know some of you didn't work out this morning, but that's okay. The food is like all steak. I got all y'all ladies covered. Some of y'all start marching in place. Take your arms up and down. You just all keep it there, keep going. You gotta keep it going. All right, you can be seated. Be seated, please. Who let the cows out? Move, move. Who let the cows out? Move. All right, ladies. The average American consumes 100 pounds of meat. That is a whole lot of meat. When we're consuming all this meat, we're setting ourselves up for three things: B, C, and L. And I ain't talking about no bacon, lettuce, tomato sandwich. Breast cancer, colon cancer, and lung cancer. This study was done by the Harvard Research Medical Team. Not only does it set us up for B, C, and L, it also sets us up for HC, S, H, D. High cholesterol, stroke, heart attack, and heart disease from eating all of this meat. And I know now, you probably want to nudge the lady sitting next to you and say, well, girl, does the food police know that God created all this meat for us to eat? And you know what I'm going to tell you? And you. You're absolutely right. He did. But it is what the industry is doing to this meat that makes it so bad. They're injecting all these animals that we consume with a harmful chemical called DES, diethylstilbestrol. That is a growth hormone. And this growth hormone is made in the lab, and they're injecting these animals with it to make them have more hormones. We have our own hormones. They have their own hormones. So when they're getting injected with more, and we're eating it, well, then we wonder why our hormones are out of balance because of all of these hormones. And then have y'all ever wondered why our little girls start their cycling early, while they develop breasts at an early age, and our little boys, they even have man boobs now because of all of this meat, the chicken McNuggets, the pizzas, the hamburgers, and the hot dogs. Yes, our girls sometimes start their cycles as early as 8 years old. If we compare our girls to girls over in other countries, they will start around 16 or 17. As parents and grandparents, we're going to have to stop taking our kids to the Krillas, Murder King, Jack in the Casket, Crispy Greasy, KFC, kidney failure, cancer, Taco Hell. We're going to have to stop this. And we're going to have to start teaching our children healthy eating habits at a very, very early age. And the really sad thing about this meat part is just children, as young as 4 years old, that have been eating all this meat at every single meal, they already have plaque building up around their arms. And I know just about now you want to raise your hand and say, food And y'all all remember, if you're from Atlanta, you remember Willie D, that famous gorilla at the Atlanta Zoo. He's gone to gorilla heaven now. But what did they feed Willie D? Fruit, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains. We can do the same thing. And then some people say, well, do I got to have my B12? Well, that's the bacteria that grows in the ground. So when the animal eats it, and you eat the animal, you're getting it secondhand. And I know that you say, well, food police. Ooh, I pull that skin off my meat. Ooh, I bake my meat. I roll my meat. I grill my meat with lettuce. It still got fat in it. And it's clogging up our arteries. And I remember that cartoonist Popeye. And we talking about age, that's okay. What did he do when he got ready to fight Brutus? Even the cartoonist got it right way back then. We can incorporate more dark leafy green vegetables into our diet, our nuts, our seeds, and our beans. And we're going to just be okay. All right, ladies, so we talked about those 3 things. Talked about them dirty cows. We talked about processed food and junk food. We talked about the dangerous poison refined sugar. Now we're going to talk about what we're going to add into our diet so we can really be the healthiest versions of ourselves. And I promise, this is the last time the food police is going to try to sing. I've got raw food on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got a raw food day. I guess you say, what can make me feel this way? Raw food, talking about raw food. Woo. All right, ladies. Now, don't get me wrong. Raw food, plant-based food, all natural food, whole food, it is still just food. But it's a starting point for us to begin to rebuild, repair, and strengthen our bodies from the inside out. Ladies, our bodies have 3 million cells. Every single day, 3 million die off, and 3 million regenerate. If we're constantly giving our bodies P, F, and J, F, B, D, and F, bleached, dyed, and fried food, that means Popeye's chicken, what type of cells do you think your body's going to regenerate? Very, very poor cells. And this is where inflammation and sickness begin to come in. But when we start eating whole food, NDF, nutritionally dense food, what type of cells are we going to generate? Wonder Woman cells. Because we are Wonder Women. Because as ladies, we are the maids. Hello. We're that soccer mom. We're that runaround mom. We're CEOs of companies. We're entrepreneurs. We're the chef. We're the butler. We do it all in our homes, keep our homes running smoothly, and we're giving 100% on our jobs. If we don't take care of this body, we can't do the things that we need to do and the things that we enjoy doing. I want to give you an example of prepackaged food versus whole food. Let's say you want to make a pasta dish for dinner. So you're going to go in the store, you're going to buy your pasta. Well, pasta comes from flour. Flour comes from wheat. Wheat grows brown out in the field. But when it goes through this process, it's been bleached. The only thing the food police use bleach for is to bleach my clothes in the washing machine. So you're going to go home and you're going to make your pasta dish. But once it goes through that bleach process, first they got to put it in a box to sit up on the shelf. So they got to add some chemicals in it so it can have shelf life. And then they're going to add some synthetic vitamins in there and some minerals in there. It's all synthetic. Like I said, our body's going to recognize those things on whole food. So you take your pasta home and you cook it. That's twice that food has been cooked. So those synthetic vitamins and minerals they put in there, you just cook them out. You're going to sit down and you're going to eat your dish and you're going to feed your body true enough, but you have not nourished your body. Every single time when you eat, we need to be nourishing our bodies. So that's the processed food. I have any gardeners in the room. Anybody garden? Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to start planting one person. Plant some lettuce out in your yard. So I'm a big gardener. So I'm going to plant me some lettuce. The first thing I'm going to do is is cultivate my soil, put me some organic cow manure in there and my compost. And I'm going to plant my lettuce seed. And then God is going to send this amazing rain down from heaven, and a little green leaf is going to shoot up. That sun is going to shine on that lettuce, and it's going to grow. When I go out there and harvest my lettuce and make my amazing big salad, I'll be getting three things. The minerals from the earth, all of that amazing rain that God sent down on it, and the energy from the sun. We don't get that when we're eating prepackaged food. So if you're at work and you didn't pack your lunch, shame on you, you might get a ticket. But you're going to go to the Krillis. You're going to go to Murder King. You're going to get that quarter pounder with cheese. Not going to get the little fry. You're going to get that super-sized fry and that 32-ounce soft cream. You go back to your office and you sit down and you eat all of that poison. You'll get real sleepy. And you're going to say, oh, I slept 8 hours last night. Why am I so sleepy? Your body is using all of that energy to digest that food. On the other hand, if you had your abundant salad, you're going to eat all of that, you'll be bouncing off the wall for the next shift. You can work another 8 hours. Because that food is giving you energy. We always want our food to energize our bodies, not to break it down. Ladies, every single day we use 3 powerful weapons to feed our bodies: the knife, the spoon, and the fork. After what you just heard today, will you make a conscious effort to avoid putting P, F, and JF on your weapons? Yes. Will you make the powerful decision to avoid putting B, D, and F on your weapons, bleach, dye, and fried food? And start taking little baby steps to put N, D, F on your weapons. Nutritionally dense food. Ladies, if someone came to this event and wanted to give you your favorite car, what would your favorite car be? What would your favorite car be? Lexus, what would your favorite car be?
Your car.
Just a car, chasing some wheels. Well, the food police favorite car would be a candy apple red Bentley. Because sometimes I just straight up do. We have these high-end cars in this body that God has given us. We get these cars, we got to make sure we change the oil on a regular basis. We're going to rotate those tires. We're going to change the air filter, the oil filter, the radiation fluids. What do we do with these bodies? As adults, we're eating like toddlers. We're putting in and everything in our mouth and not even thinking twice what it's going to do to these bodies. So ladies, you have the choice. You have the information. Information is useless if we don't use it. So the choice is yours, ladies. I want to thank you. I'm going to have to leave, but I did prepare some all-natural food. I'm going to tell you what it is, because I won't hear when you eat it. So have you ever had a raw collard green? Yes. Well, today, if you haven't had it, you're going to experience a chipotle chili cheese collard green wrap made by the food police herself. And in this wrap, you have a cheese spread on the leaf. It's cashew paste. Then you have a nut crumble with pumpkin seeds. And pumpkin seeds are a complete source of protein. You get your protein in there. And then it has your same seasoning that you would season a taco with. Your cumin, your chili pepper, your onion, and your garlic. So it's all rolled up in your collard green. And then next, we have some stuffed peppers with a chickpea bell pepper hummus. And then we have spiral zucchini with a herbal vinaigrette dressing stuffed in the peppers. And then you have a red cabbage, cranberry apple beet salad with a curry dressing. All this made with love, you know, food from the earth and food from the tree. And we talked about those natural sugars. Ladies, boy, I have a treat for you. We have a creamy, luscious cheesecake. Plant-based. The base of it is good. Anybody start to nuts? Don't eat it in school because you might break out. You ain't got guts in it. So the cheesecake is based with cashews, coconut oil, agave, some lemon juice, and then a lot of love. And then we have a crispy, crunchy coconut cookie. Then you got some pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, complete source of protein with some natural chocolate and coconut condensed
So we're going to go next because it's
So ladies, if any of you ever want to order any of the desserts, you go to my website, you have my information there. And if any of you need a speaker at your next event, you can contact me. And then last thing I want to tell you that the Food Police have a detox program on our website. You know, we regularly change the air filters in our home on a regular basis. We do things in our cars on a regular basis. But what do we do for our bodies on a regular basis other than eat like toddlers? So my detox is very simple. It's a 14-page PDF. You have smoothies that you're going to make. You have salads that you're going to make. You're going to make your own dressing. You come with your grocery list and the ingredients, everything that you need. And so it's normally $29.99, but today you get it for half off, $15.99 up until Wednesday. You go to my website and you just type in Gigi's event, and I will send it to you for $15.99. So again, I want to thank Gigi for allowing me to speak to you ladies and just start taking baby steps and be mindful of what we're putting into our bodies. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're in New York, but then we have outpatient centers here in Georgia. But we get a
The lady
grant
from
to be able to
Northside
come
on
out
director because hers is
and
just 5
talk
minutes.
to
Doesn't make
mainly the
sense.
youth, but also the parent programming, as well as professional programming as well. But what we do is smoking cessation classes for middle schoolers, high school students. So yes, your babies, your 11-year-olds, I have them. 5th graders, I have them that are already smoking and vaping. So let's get started, and then I'm also going to talk about hookahs and marijuana as well, because hookahs as adults, I know a lot of adults smoke hookah and don't even know, really what's going on. All right, so vaping, as we know, is like one of the newest things that came out that our children and even adults are participating in. And the reason why a lot of people end up vaping is because it was invented in about 2002 is when it first came out. And it was for people that wanted to quit smoking the traditional cigarette, right? And even back then, it actually still looked like a cigarette, because nobody was trying to hide it. It was just, I'm trying to quit smoking. So once they realized that it was something that was just addictive as a traditional cigarette, this is when they started changing the flavors, what it looks like, how the smoke can be produced, enticing the kids because they got watermelon, Jolly Rancher flavors, the wild berry juice, all the different flavors that come in, right? So for them, it's been around their whole life. So this is not anything unusual for us, it's been only about 20 years that it's been out. So there's no long-term, we don't know the long-term consequences because there haven't been enough studies, done about it just yet. So one of the things that we can make an educated guess on is that because it is nicotine, although it's coming out of in a vaporized smoke form, but it's still nicotine, is that it still can cause cancers anywhere that the smoke can, go. So we're talking about sinus cancer, throat, vocal cord. Everyone always thinks of lung cancer. Of course, there's that. And the things also like high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, something as simple as premature aging, wrinkles, lines around mouth, face, stainings of teeth, hands, fingernails, things like that. So one of the things that I always like to tell people, because a lot of people don't really think about it, as far as vaping is concerned, is one of the things that has come out. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of popcorn lung.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So popcorn lung, it started when they had a microwave popcorn factory when the first microwave popcorn was first invented. And what they noticed is that what everybody had in common in that factory was that they were inhaling vaporized butter flavor. So mind you, this is not even any nicotine. So it was messing up the alveoli in the lungs, causing it not to be able to expand and contract like it's supposed to. And so this is one of the things that can happen with vaping. All right, so besides that there's nicotine in it, there's also propylene glycol, which is in a fog machine. There's acetone, which we know is the nail polish remover. There is arsenic, which is a rat poisoning. There's formaldehyde, which we know is an embalming fluid. There is, and a lot of this can also be found in natural tobacco nicotine as well. So, of course, all the different flavorings and things that they put in it, people don't really realize that. So, hookah, let's talk about that a little bit. So, with all these hookah lounges, hookah bars, and vape shops coming up everywhere, smoke shops, how people have them in their homes, a lot of people have the misconception, as well as with vaping, that it's some type of steam or mist, but it actually is tobacco smoke. Because when you use a hookah, you put the tobacco at the top, there's a coal that lights it up, and this is also flavored tobacco. So when you smoke out of those hoses, a 45-minute session of smoking hookah is like chain smoking 15 cigarettes, back to back. All right, so, but let's keep it real, guys. You know, if you went to a hookah lounge or to a party, you're not only smoking 45 minutes. You're smoking 2 or 3 hours. So in one night, now you smoke 3 or 4 packs of cigarettes. Just because you wanted that vanilla flavor or that cherry flavor or whatever your favorite, flavor might be. And then to add insult to injury, even if you're changing the mouthpieces on those hookahs, those hoses cannot be changed. So there's moisture, bacteria, saliva, mold, all kinds of stuff is in there. So yeah, all that stuff you can get from the TB, of course, with COVID, all that stuff, you pass herpes, yep. So all of that. And so, like I was telling you guys earlier, so with the hookah's been around a little bit, longer, but they're popularized now, along with the vapes. So because there's no long-term consequences information, that's why it seems safer than it really is. That's why the kids don't understand that what they're smoking is dangerous because we don't have all the information yet. And I always tell them, like, you want to be the geek kid, coming back to your high school in 30 years saying, hey, I wish I never smoked. You don't want to be that person, right? So, just trying to keep it moving. So within nicotine itself, there's over 500 chemicals, of course, including pesticides and things like that in order for them to be able to keep it. And so when we talk about vaping, a lot of times it's also parts. So it'd be like the vape pens, where they're putting the marijuana or the THC, inside of it. And, or smoking marijuana through, cigars or cigarillos. And so what a lot of people don't realize that every time, because if I ask someone who smokes blunt, they will say, I will say, so do you smoke cigarettes? No, that's nasty. Nobody wanted that cancer thing. Oh, that's so gross. This thing, I get all that. But a lot of times we don't realize just because you dump the shredded tobacco out in the middle and put the marijuana in, you're still smoking the same amount of tobacco as 2 cigarettes every time you smoke. All right? And so with nicotine and tobacco, I told you everything that's in it, right? So, and then on top of that, something that the food police said that I got the same thing too, is anytime I talk about marijuana, people's like, God put it here, he grew from the ground, it's natural. Well, the thing with that is that when it naturally does grow from the ground, guess what? You don't get it. There's not that much THC in it. So what you're smoking is man-made, engineered by chemists, scientists, farmers, all that kind of stuff. So, when, like in the 80s and the 90s, marijuana had about a 3% THC potency rate. Now the leaf marijuana is 25 plus. And that's because it's been chemically engineered, changed. They do all kinds of things to those seeds to make it more addictive. Yep, make it more high, and get more addicted. So then we start getting into what's in the vapes. The oils, the dabs, the waxes, the shatter, the butter. These are all different forms of THC. And they're used to either put in THC pens or to be put in edibles. So with all those are 95% potent of THC. So they've been totally changed and altered. So you have to be careful with that as well. Edibles, I usually put those in because that's the highest rate of overdose that we see these days. I know you guys probably hear on the news, like some kids in school. Why the first time try edibles is at school? It's me, I don't know. But they do. And so a lot of times they end up going to the hospital. And the reason why is because, overdose doesn't always mean death. It just means that you consumed, more than your body's able to handle. So with edibles, it can take about 3 hours before you actually feel it. So for some people, they might eat a gummy, cookie, brownie, whatever it may be, and they don't feel anything. And they're like, oh, there's nothing in here. This is not even strong. So they eat another one. So after about 3 hours, we have eaten 3 or 4 gummies, cookies, whatever it was. And then all of a sudden, what happened? Sweating, dizzy, palpitations, stomach ache, vomit, paranoia, feeling like that. There's so many symptoms, and so I'm going to the emergency room. That girl last week, she died. Oh yeah. So sometimes I'm not saying you can't, but in most cases people don't. But there could be other underlying issues from there. All the way around. It's not good. But all those symptoms end up in the hospital. But once your body breaks it down, your liver, your kidney, it turns into another higher chemical. So remember, it's already 95% plus potent. Now it turns into what's called 11-hydroxy-8 once your body breaks it down. 11-hydroxy-THC, which now makes it 4 to 5 times stronger. So this is why you'll see people may have psychotic breaks, have moments of where they don't know what's going on. And unfortunately, for people who are already struggling with mental health, you can't unring that bell once it's out, it's done. And it has caused a lot of people, this is why you may see a lot of teenagers, we're seeing that, a lot of teenagers having a lot more emotional and mental health problems more than ever before. And this is one of the reasons why, because their brains are fully developed until you're 25. Until you're 25. And so there's 2 parts. The hippocampus, which controls your memory and your emotions, is now messing with the way that it says neural pathway. Yeah, it says the neural pathway sends and receive messages. And then also your prefrontal cortex, which is the decision-making part of your brain. So 2 important parts that we need. Of course, we need all of it. But this is the reason why you see a lot of teenagers, making risky, taking risky behavior and not taking the long-term consequences. So I know I've told you guys a lot about a lot of different things, whether it's nicotine, whether it's marijuana, hookah, all of that. I will. Okay, that's where I thought that time. So what I wanted to see is if you guys if you had any questions about any of those things that I talked about, because I know I could talk all day. But if you guys,
is it true that with the hookah and hookah lounges, that even going inside of those lounges and inhaling is just as bad as doing it yourself?
absolutely, secondhand smoke. So with the secondhand smoke, you can get all the same diseases as the person who actually smoked. So a lot of times smoke or be exposed, if you can, try to have yourself removed from the situation, because I don't know if you guys have heard this, but a lot of kids like the hot box, meaning smoke in the car, all the windows rolled up. And so if you're in one of those type of situations, or where you're in the house, secondhand smoke, if you're the smoker in the house and you have other people in the house, realize that you can give them whatever you get. They're the same, the percentage is almost just as high, and they're not even the one that is smoking. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes I was like, I don't know if you guys ever heard of third-hand smoke. So third-hand smoke is if you ever get in somebody's car or go into their house, you see no smoke anywhere, but you can still smell smoke.
Yeah.
It's coming out of the fumes. They're coming out of the seat cushions of the car or the sofa. And that don't necessarily get you cancer, but if you're someone that already has like bronchitis or asthma or any of that, it'll irritate you. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions about hookah, vaping? Anything?
Are there any laws to regulate this whole hookah industry?
As far as hookah, no.
That's terrible.
No. With vaping, they've upped the age to 21 to try to reduce
Because like
smoke.